Alrighty, happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully, you all had a great and glorious weekend. I sure did. The previous weekend was a little rough, had a lot of sinus issues, but this weekend, it was pretty good. Not too much sinus issues. I know a lot of different places around the world right now are on a brutal heat wave. I have a lot of people that I know in the UK, United Kingdom, believe it or not. If you're new to this YouTube channel, welcome. I put out videos Monday through Friday on this channel. My main YouTube channel is Nightmare RH, 200,000 plus subscribers. It's a gaming channel, and I have a lot of gaming viewers in the UK, and right now they're in a brutal, absolutely devastating heat wave. Devastating heat wave that they have not been in for like many decades. So hopefully everyone's staying hydrated. Hopefully everyone is doing good health, good vibes all around. Today we're going to get straight to the point. Probably going to be a shorter video because what I kind of really want to talk about can be summed up in, let's say, maybe 12, 13 minutes. If you enjoy my content, smash the like button, subscribe for more, like I said. If you enjoy real talk, this is what I do. I'm a real human being, retail investor, retail shareholder, trader, retail, pretty much jack of all trades, but I am retail, definitely not big money over here. And from my own perspective, this week is going to be absolutely volatile like you cannot imagine. There are things happening this week that is revolved around oil primarily that could very well spike the market, so make a lot of your long-term investments go up in value. And like we saw last week, they can also make your long-term investments go down in value. That irritates long-term shareholders more than you can imagine. I've been in the market now for 6+ years. I've been around for many games, and I've just really become immune to trying to keep it PG, but I really can't sometimes. All the bullshit that pretty much happens, because there's a lot of nonsense that happens in the stock market, and it causes people to leave with a bitter taste in their mouth, and then they just never ever take the time to really understand that, hey, it's a game. There's a lot of people that don't like playing games. There's a lot of people that say, why does it have to be like a game, right? Hey, I'm a small fish in a big pond, and I'm assuming all you people watching me are in the same boat, being retail. I highly doubt I have a hedge fund manager on Wall Street with tens and tens of billions of dollars watching me right now. But, you know, crazier things have happened. We cannot move the market. We cannot change the market. We just have to play the market. And if you want to break out of the matrix like I have, when it comes to growing your financial net worth to the upside and very much just living life on your own terms, you got to play the game. I've been in the market now since March of 2020, Rona, and 2020 was 2020. I really did take a risk and buy into the market, but one of the best decisions I've made in my life. 2022 was a gut check for a lot of people. A lot of people left the market in 2022. A lot of people got back in the market after the presidential election of 2024, but they got tied up during Liberation Day last year, and they ended up leaving the market once again. I'm not a financial advisor. You do you at the end of the day. Do what makes you happy. But when you enter the market, leave the market, you try to time the market, you're not going to win, because you're not God, neither am I, and you can't really accurately predict the future. A lot of people tried to do this, and it doesn't work in their favor. If we were to go back, let's say on the charts to 25 February of this year, you can go back and watch my videos 25 February. You can go back and watch my videos from beginning of February. I was not even talking about a war breaking out in the Middle East, nor did really anyone even think that was going to happen, okay? Everyone was really looking at AI. It was software apocalypse, SaaS apocalypse. So everyone back in January and February of this year was looking at software stocks as being obsolete. Yeah, that's pretty funny, right? Very much looking at oil was not even an issue. No one was even talking about oil earlier this year. And in a snap of a fingers, all eyes are now on oil, which is just absolutely hilarious. So this week, we're going to be getting a lot of government data, which is going to be able to move this market in either direction, realistically. So today, we really don't have too much on the scale. Markets are very much kind of just like holding firm. Tomorrow is the CPI. Now, understand that this government data is a month prior, okay? I'll go back to the charts in a minute here. So Tuesday, we have CPI, and then the following day on Wednesday, we have PPI. And CPE is not this week. I believe CPE is the following week. But we have retail sales that can very much, all the data we're getting this week can very much move the market. Very much so. And next week, the data is not even listed here, but CPI and PPI is something that the new Fed governor is definitely going to be looking at. And understand that this data is going to be for the previous month. So I drew a bubble around on the screen right here. And what we see for the previous month of oil is we basically see half of June basically pretty much going down from, we're talking 90 all the way down to maybe $70 a barrel. Let's go ahead and average and call it even, maybe around 80, 85. The Federal Reserve has stated that if oil is below $85 a barrel, it's really not going to show on their radar. And it's extremely bullish for the market for oil to very much be below $85 a barrel. Now, moving averages do not matter at all when it really comes to oil. I got to kind of really remove here because oil is in its own separate entity. It really is, okay? Don't look at the moving averages. Don't try to use technical analysis on oil. It's all based on geopolitical events. And right now, there is still some tension in the Middle East with Iran and the U.S., so that is causing some upward tick. But we're still way below $85 a barrel, which is still very bullish, in my opinion. So the government data can very much show that inflation is very much coming down because it's going off of June. Now, August is really going to be the gut check. If we can go ahead and have the entire month of July basically be below $80 a barrel, call it even lower than 85, then the inflation data is going to be even better. And if the month of August, we basically have oil maybe in the 60s, call me a little crazy, right? But it's possible. Maybe get oil to the low 60s. Well, then we're going to be looking at September's data as very, very bullish, okay? Having no rate cuts on the table for this year, we may be looking at one. Now, that is completely very much a coin toss because if we look on the betting markets, if you even mention like the possibility of one rate cut for this year, you basically get categorized into like a loony bin, right? Go back and watch my videos 8 months ago of December. Okay, December of 2025, the betting markets had a 25% chance of getting a rate cut in December. We ended up getting a rate cut in December. So understand that this government, or understand that this stuff right here, let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen here. This is on the Fed Governor Watch. This is all based on algos. We are 16 days away. If you are new to the market, you got to understand that the market is literally ran by bots. Yes, the first time that I learned this, I thought it was nonsense and I thought someone was screwing with me. No, the market is ran by bots. It's ran by automation, okay? Once again, if you're going to be playing in the stock market, you got to accept it and you just got to say, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to build my strategy, not trying to really like... I'm going to build a strategy based around what the market is giving me and what the market is. I'm not going to build a strategy to change the market. If you try to change the market, you're going to lose. The house always wins, okay? It's like going to a freaking casino. The house always wins. Now, this is absolutely absurd in my opinion, and I just don't see a rate hike at all. And neither does a lot. It's very funny. A lot of Wall Streeters on Wall Street, they are very scared of rate hikes. They think that there's going to be rate hikes. However, every single content creator, retail content creator out there, you can watch many content creators that are very much like me. They're not feeling it. They're calling the bluff. And this is like very scary to say there is like a 39% chance of a rate hike. Like, that's like just like a no-brainer. Like, hey, this is more than a two, it's more than a 1/3 probability that we're going to be getting a rate hike. How can you even be factoring in talking about rate cuts nightmare, right? And it's because I played this game before, and I understand that in a snap of a fingers, all this stuff can change. So this is based on algos. It's based on what is currently going on. We even go further into the future here, which is hilarious. We go to September meeting. We're factoring in potentially like 2 rate hikes. Then we go even further out. We even go further out. Let's say, yeah, it's nonsense. A lot of people are just looking at this and they still have fear inside their strategy. If you've been following me, especially in the last 6 months, I've been just buying stock hand over fist, left and right, because I'm calling a bluff. And the bluff that I basically pretty much see is that the government data is going to get better because oil is going to remain lower. And whether or not you like the Trump administration, I'm taking what the Secretary of Treasury and also Donald Trump is saying for face value, that the inflation reports are going to improve now that we have like a concrete deal. The market is not necessarily freaking out so much about the exchanging fires currently, like in the Middle East. They're very much forward looking because they're like, okay, Iran has always been a hot nation in the sense of breaking like negotiations. This is pretty much what they do. We're looking past this now, and we're trying to really get, behind this. The government data is going to improve over the next several months. How do I know this? Because I've seen this happen before. Okay, I was in the market all throughout 2022, 23. I listened to every single meeting that Jay Powell pretty much said. And every single time the Fed raised rates, inflation did come down. Well, ironically, you have a war, a geopolitical conflict that is causing inflation to go up. Get rid of that geopolitical conflict, inflation goes down. Obviously, we had the money printer on too hot during 2020 and 21, which caused the massive inflation in 2022 and 23. And when the Fed stopped printing money, the inflation cooled, okay? This is not like something that is set in stone, but I'm seeing a lot of new people in the market on social media really just looking at this, and they're like, what's the point of really investing? What's the point of building positions, whether it's a long, whether it's a trade position? I might as well get back in the market once all this stuff cools down. No, that's not a right strategy. I can show you stock after market after market after market. When the headlines are out saying the market is a wonderful place, the rally has already happened. When the headlines are out saying that the stock market has crashed, the stock market has already crashed. You got to be in the market to you can't be relying on the headlines. You can't be playing that game to get out and get back in. If you think all this stuff is really nonsense, do your due diligence. Look at charts, look at past data, look at what I'm saying about oil pretty much coming down in inflation reports, pretty much projecting from the previous month here. So take all this stuff with a grain of salt. Continue to stick to your strategy. I got my positions built out, and I'm very much ready. Tomorrow is going to be a deep dive, probably into more SoFi, more AMD, definitely with the government data as well too. I do want to talk a little bit about SpaceX tomorrow because SpaceX is getting kicked in the nuts right now, very much down. And I do want to talk about many other things in my public profile. If you want to see my public profile on my channel, I made it just for this YouTube channel. I'm going to be showing that tomorrow. And I believe I showed my public profile 2, maybe 3 videos ago on this YouTube channel. Don't be lazy. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more content from me and get notified. And if you want to see my other stuff as well, such as my public profile, you can't wait until tomorrow. Check out my other previous videos. Much love, much appreciation. Thanks for watching me, and see you all on tomorrow's episode. Later.